Hello and welcome to Clipping In. Remember, the 5th of November. Woolley, Galthorpe and Mexborough. Might need to work on that a little bit. Does anything rhyme with Mexborough? Hello, welcome to Clipping In. It's Sunday the 5th of November, plot night, and it's time for the ride to Mexborough for the Ted Hughes connection. Coming into Old Royston, I think I've ridden somewhere around 21 miles, and just a few hundred yards ahead is the old Barnsley-Wakefield Canal, which is now has cycle permission. Let's have a little look. I featured that before on a gravel ride. I think it was about a year ago. That's the, if we can see that there maybe. It's a very green looking canal. Mexborough is sandwiched between the rivers Dearne and Don, roughly halfway between Barnsley and Doncaster. And it's in present-day South Yorkshire. I've never been to Mexborough before, so this will be a little bit of navigation on the fly. I know Barnsley quite well, lived in Sheffield for a long time, but that sort of Doncaster side, new to me. See how it goes. So Ted Hughes was Poet Laureate from 1984 until his death in the late 90s. He was originally born in Mytholmroyd, but then at the age of 8 his parents up sticks and moved to Mexborough to run a newsagent shop. He was a pupil at Mexborough Grammar School, and his formative years, the years that shaped him into being a poet, they all happened at Mexborough. And I'd say that he broke onto the poetry scene in the late 50s, really. Similar time to when such as John Osborne and the Angry Young Men were breaking into the theatre scene. All the sort of realism, gritty, working class aspect of things breaking through into the niceties of theatre. We all know the Monty Python sketch involving tungsten carbide drills. Suppose you're swanning off to Barnsley with all your fancy coal mining mates. Well, I got to Mexborough. I rode down what I thought was Main Street, but I couldn't see any blue plaques. It was just a parade of closed takeaways and some of the worst tarmac I've ever ridden on. I tried to find a route up a very steep hill towards Mexborough Grammar School, but I couldn't figure that out at all. And I think I've almost run out of it now. Mexborough Spiritualist Church and the Adwick Road roundabout. So I'll do another little tour if I can, and see if I can find this, what was a cable ferry towards old Denaby. Otherwise it's 3 strikes and 3 blanks. Not a great hit rate there. Looks promising. So here we have the navigation and next to it the river, which looks quite swollen, River Don. So after crossing the navigation and then where the cable ferry used to be, that white metal bridge there, incredibly I bumped into a really nice old gentleman who, when he was a boy, because he's 92 now, 93, when he was a boy he used to help the man that ran the hand-operated cable ferry, Mr. Nuttall. You couldn't make it up. I almost felt that I should have maybe asked him to say something on camera or take a picture, but it just felt intrusive the way we were talking, so I didn't do that. But that's an incredible encounter. 93, yeah, born in 1931, so 92, and he's still pottering around to the old cable ferry. Wow. Right, Old Denaby next. Having crossed the railway, ferry boat farm fisheries, a slightly interesting surface, and this should take me up towards Old Denaby. Now, what was the old Manor Farm looks to have been modernised and extended, and it's a large dining and entertainment experience, so I shall not venture further than this. Time to start making tracks. Well, the adventure continues. The road I was going to take to get back towards South Emsall is flooded, and I've come onto what is, I think, the Transpennine Trail, and the sweet hum of the generator that you can hear. They're pumping out the flood water into the Dearn. Just as well I'm not looking at average speed for this one. I think I'll be walking the next half mile or so. Tarmac and leaves. I think this is the Transpennine Trail. Should be okay even on my road tyres. Nice and steady. Faster than walking. When the levee breaks. Wow. Some nice lanes opening up now. I'm heading towards Hooton Pagnell, after which then South Emsall, Hemsworth. Just come through Hooton Pagnell. Isn't that where Morrissey lost his bag? When I set off this morning around 8 o'clock, it was pretty cold actually. It was 5 degrees thermometer, and the wind had quite a bite to it, so I got out my thermal hat, a reasonably warm jersey, you know, most of the cold weather kit. I like a warm hat. I can't really cope with a cold head. I get these ice cream headaches, and then that's it, I'm done. So yeah, I sort of shudder when I see people in deep winter wearing a helmet on a bare head. Whoa, braver than me. Riding along Robin Lane, having cleared Hemsworth and heading towards South Eandley. Wind's picking up, warmer, about 9 degrees now. Beautiful afternoon. I'm at Woolly Top, and there's some bizarre new road layouts being implemented, but they haven't done it all yet. Certain roads are closed, which in future will be one way. Other roads are one way, but cars are going on them both ways. Ugh. So I have opted for a road that is supposedly closed, but will be a one-way in this direction. If it's blocked, I'll just get off and walk at the end. Climbed up into Thornhill from Horbury Bridge, Hostingley Lane, the Turkey Hill. Means I'm getting into the home straight. Less than 10 miles to go. Being able to explore new roads and go to new places on a bicycle, fantastic. I love doing these kinds of slow, semi-improvised rides at this time of year. Just having a rough idea where you want to go and how to get there, and the same for the return. And you bump into all kinds of interesting roads and sites and villages. I think it's fantastic. Where the floods, where the Dearn had burst its banks, there was a few dog walkers there who told me that the Transpennine Trail was mostly hard surfaced, and they asked where I was from. So, you're not from around here? And I said, no, I've come from Bradford this morning. And they couldn't believe that. Wow, you've ridden from Bradford all this way? Are you stopping over? No, I'm going back. You know, wow, 80 miles on a bike. And it's to regular cyclists, it's not that special. We take it for granted. But then you see the disbelief, the almost wonderment of people who don't really realise what a bicycle can do. And you know, you don't have to be some sort of supreme athlete to do that. Well, that's been a super enjoyable ride, and I hope that GoPro footage can be patched together to do it justice. It's not going to look as dramatic as the Dales or the High Pennines, but it's just been a fine ride. And meeting the old ferryman's assistant was an absolute cherry on the cake. Lovely. Still goes down there. Wow. So we'll see what Strava has to say for mileage. I've no idea. And I'll see you very soon for one of the sub 2 series, and I'll say goodbye for now. Time for tea.